If you end up liking this video and finding it helpful, then give it a thumbs up and leave your comments below about what your experiences are of using this video. And also, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button and the bell button near the subscribe button so that you can be kept informed when future videos like this go live.
So this bedtime story is about a princess going out horse riding one day. So as you listen to this, you can close your eyes, make sure you're comfortable, and you can relax to this at your own rate and speed as you fall asleep comfortably. And my voice can just be in the background while you drift off to sleep. And so a princess living in a castle decided she wanted to go out on a horse ride around her land. She got changed into clothes suitable for going out horse riding. She walked through the palace, footsteps echoing down the corridors, passing windows with light glimmering and shining through, like slithers or shards of light. She left the palace and went round to the stables, and it was a warm, sunny day. She could feel the warmth of the sun on her face. She could notice just the slightest of breezes in the distance around the trees. And she walked around to the stables. And she could begin to smell the smell of the stables, hear the sound of the horses as she got closer. She had someone in advance, putting a saddle on her horse and the bridle, and setting her horse up ready for her to take out. And they helped her up onto the horse. She pulled the horse's head up, squeezed gently with her feet, and the horse started walking along. And she could feel the weight of the horse's head through the reins, hear the clipping, clopping of the feet. As she rode from the stable, down the path, to leave her palace grounds and head off into the nearby woods. And she could feel the horse underneath her as it gently trotted along, and feel the warmth from its body. And she could smell the unique smell of her horse, and found just sitting on the horse so relaxing. And every now and then her horse would want to put its head down to eat some grass, and she would just keep its head out of the ground. And occasionally just have to nudge him on a bit. And as the horse continued trotting out of the grounds onto a bridleway and off towards the woodland, the princess could begin to hear the sounds of birds in the background as she neared the woodland. And then as she arrived at the woodland and trotted into the woods, following the bridleway, the atmosphere changed. The slight breeze died down as it was blocked by the trees, although the rustling of the leaves could still be heard as the breeze blew across the tops of the trees. And the princess continued trotting through the woods, listening to the bird sounds, hearing the sounds of each footstep that the horse took. Noticing the greens of the trees, the browns of the bark, and the smells of the woodland. And she enjoyed taking in the sights and sounds of a ride out into the woods. And after some time travelling through the woods, she came to a clearing, to a beautiful meadow, where all the grass was moving in the breeze, like waves on an ocean. And she trotted through the meadow, before finding a flat bit where she nudged her horse and burst into a canter and then a gallop. And she raised herself up slightly and leant forwards and positioned herself, streamlining herself, using her legs like shock absorbers, allowing the horse to gallop along while she remained steady, pulling her elbows in, keeping her heels down. Feeling the wind rapidly passing across her face and through her hair. And as she approached the far side of the meadow, she pulled back on the reins a little, as the horse slowed from a gallop to a canter, and then down to a trot, and then a gentle walk. And she could hear and feel the horse breathing heavier now. And so she just continued at a gentle walk, allowing time for the horse to relax, while she enjoyed just relaxing on the back of the horse. She was heading to one of her favourite spots. And she could see and hear a stream in the distance. And she headed towards that stream. And as she got closer, so the sound of the running water increased. And she dismounted from her horse, held onto the reins, pat the side of the horse's neck, and together they walked along the edge of the stream. And the horse put his head down and had a bit of a drink. And they carried on, following the stream to a lake. And at the lake, the princess laid down a mat, laid down something that she could sit on. And she sat down and got out a good book. And listening to the lapping water on the shore of the lake, she sat there and read a little piece of her book, enjoying the sensations of just drifting in her mind and relaxing. And then the sun was beginning to set, and she wasn't ready to go back to the palace yet. So she went and got some wood. She made a little fire, lit the fire, and could hear the crackling of the fire, see the dancing of the light. Her horse chowed down on some grass. While she got some food out of her bag, took some time to cook some of that food over the fire and eat her food. And now the sun was almost completely over the horizon. The moon was visible in the sky. Stars were becoming visible. And she sat back, rested her head on her bag, just gazing up at the sky, looking at twinkling stars, listening to the relaxing sound of the lake in the background and the breathing sound of her horse and the rustling leaves as the wind blows a breeze. And she found herself just feeling tired and drifting off to sleep. And she decided she wanted to spend the evening here. So she got a blanket and just rested that over herself. And just continue to watch the stars as they move across the sky. Notice the occasional shooting star. And she imagined how peaceful life is like this, and whether there could be anything more peaceful and blissful than riding out into a meadow by a lake and relaxing under the stars. And when she was ready, she just naturally started drifting off asleep. And she comfortably drifted asleep as the fire had burnt down to just glowing embers. With that sound of the lake in the background. Knowing that in the morning she would make her journey back to the palace and have to get back on with her work. But for now she knew it was the time to relax and sleep.